even Lopez is the name. It's my show, welcome to it.
Well, this is my first podcast interview, so we could say that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do that. First podcast. Well, there's nothing to be scared of here. It's just a conversation.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to get you on here. I was just listening to your shit. Actually, I was listening to it last week when we were going to do this. And then I see over the weekend, so I'm actually glad we didn't do the conversation last week and we did it today. Because then over the weekend, you get your shit spun on the radio in Chicago. So congrats.
Thank you. It's definitely something I didn't expect, and I learned firsthand how quickly things can happen.
Yeah, for real. Is there you don't have to give, all the details, but is there any like fun story or like how that came about that, shout out to Power 92. Power 92 played your record.
Yeah, shout out DJ Casanova. He's the one who really he legit stopped the show and was like, who just performed? I need to know who she is. And the DJ was just like, that's Roze Red. He's like, who? Man, he said like 5 times. I got it all. I got it all on video.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then
so
that's how you met him?
Yeah. I mean, really, there was a birthday party for Realty, and Realty is a good friend of my manager, Claudia, CG cover girl. And so she's like, come with me to this thing. It's my friend's birthday party, and really, I was just going to chill. She was like, well, I want to try to get you to perform. So he was like, okay, cool. And so at the end, he comes up to me. He's just like, oh, I'm going to let you perform towards the end. You know what I mean? Because I already have all these people there. And originally they had said you had to have like 5 people come in and pay $20 and all this stuff. And I'm like, ain't nobody coming to Gary for me. You're like, I didn't even want to be in Gary. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, but the venue was really, really nice. And the sound system was great. And the vibe was really, really nice. Actually, I was glad I went. So then towards the end, they said they was gonna put me on, and everybody was pretty much almost walking out, and then they just stopped and I just did my thing, and then afterwards they stopped the whole show. Like, wait a minute, they was like legit putting on the lights already, you know what I'm saying? And then man, all that happened, and he was just like, he's like, I swear I'm gonna put her on the radio tomorrow. Send me that song. He has the DJ if he had it, of course. But the fun story is that I love that song, and I just was doing it to just be on stage. And it was like a show CD because I actually hadn't recorded it yet.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? It was halfway done. So I had to call my guy, Danny Drummond from Drummond Brothers Studios, who's like that's where my home studio is. And he made it happen. I was in the studio by 12 p.m. We had the song done by 2 p.m. You know what I'm saying? They had it in their hands. And then, now other DJs are asking me for it and stuff. It's still not completely done, but it's just like, it just goes to show you got to be ready at any time. You know what I'm saying?
100%. That's crazy. I mean, congrats to all that. That shit is crazy. That's a crazy story. I was gonna say it in the middle of that. It's honestly kind of like a movie story. Like
right?
If you were going through it, and then it's like, oh, I'm trying to get a song on the radio, and then it's just like this random way that you never expect that it happens.
Absolutely. I mean, legit, I didn't know that there was this like war between Power 92 and WGCI. I'm kind of like nervous because they were talking about how like Power 92 is really giving Chicago artists chances to be heard, and this is like the first time that I always wanted to be on Power 92, but I've also done things like with Tony Schofield in the past. We've done parodies and he's put me on before, so I can't completely say that WGCI has not given me a chance, but as far as radio play, I think Power 92 got y'all.
Yeah. I didn't know that there was as much of a feud as I've seen a little bit on on social media and stuff. But I don't know if it's. I mean, they're competitors. But to your effect, the only people that I've gotten love from, not that I've tried a bunch, is from GCI. So actually, but I've never gotten any radio play. So that's I don't know. That's really exciting. And I think you're right though that I think Power probably does play more like independent Chicago artists, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, let's shop talk. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about a whole Clear Channel station, versus another station that has notoriety. However, it is an underground station, so that's the difference.
No, of course. GCI is an iHeart radio station. They're still getting paid off by labels and shit. I mean, that's still happening.
Absolutely.
At that level, it's Yeah, I do like that. Radio is still clearly important. As much as we like all act like it's not, people still listen
Yeah.
to the radio.
Mm-hmm. I just don't like commercials, but I mean,
Yeah.
I understand now how important they are.
No, but I don't know if they have. No, I feel you too. Like I don't listen. I mean, I do listen to the radio, but like I guess not as much as I used to. But I do listen to it, and I still think radio play like is cool to an artist. I don't know if it
It is.
is what it was when we were younger, but to me, it's still like, yo, if your song's on the radio, like anybody in any car could just turn it on. Like
It's a big deal, and even more so now because everything is digitalized, where you can actually just, more than your car, just turn, tune in on your phone and stuff like that. Because that's how I had to do it.
yeah. Yeah, actually, you're right. Yeah, because now people are just listening to the radio on their phones. That's how I've been doing it lately too.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that it was I was going through. I mean, I wanted to ask because you only have a couple songs on your Spotify, but I know you have a shit ton more music.
I do.
So that's what's interesting. The song that you got on the radio and the song that's getting a little buzz is not out.
Exactly. But you know what? That's what buzz is all about, right? So
Sure.
You want people to go look at your stuff and find out who you are first as an artist. They may like that one song, but then as they're clicking around trying to look for it, they'll be like, "Oh, wait a minute, I like this one too. Oh, this is different,"
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that's what happens.
Yeah.
I've gotten a few more subscribers on my actual website than usual, so that's pretty cool too.
That is, yeah. That's awesome. There's no one way to go about this. It's
Right.
I like the idea that the song's not out. That's cool. It's like another mystique behind it. You're like, who is
Well,
this?
yeah, and what's cool too is because they gave me a chance, they got a Power 92 exclusive, so they're the only ones who have it right now.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah. See, that's I that story is honestly so like because it's so like unexpected. Like that's so cool. It's like that's like the kind of story that people always hope to hear. Like people are like you like the stories of like Big Sean waiting outside the radio station and rapping. Like those are very uncommon, but occasionally those things happen.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to be prepared.
Yeah, I told them.
In those positions. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I told him, I said, man, you made my little hip hop dream come true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for real, not only to be on the radio, but to be on Power 92. Like everybody knows Power 92 is like real hip hop. You know what I mean? And it's not commercialized. I mean, of course they play, mainstream artists, but at the same time their whole premise is mostly to uplift underground artists and to be considered and revered. And he stopped the whole show for me. Like that just was amazing to me, and did his own little shout out and put it on his page, and he had me on Facebook like, oh my god, what is going on today?
That's so awesome. Really cool. I'm so happy for you and excited for you. And yeah, to have somebody stop a show for you, like that shit is crazy. What's the name of the song? I gotta ask.
It's called Miss Me.
Miss Me?
But it's like Miss Me with that bullshit, really.
Yeah. But it's spelled normal.
Miss Me. Yeah, it's spelled normal.
Okay. And do you guys have any? I mean, now everything's going, I'm sure, probably crazy for you guys. You rushed everything. Do you think you have an idea of when you're gonna release it or anything like that?
Let's see. We're in December 1st today.
Yeah, you don't have to. If you haven't thought about it, don't worry.
No, I have. I actually wanted to get in the studio this week to fix it. But as for now, I really don't want to release anything until the new year.
Yeah.
Because I still have those 3 singles out, and I have a lot of media and other performances that I'm doing. So I want to be able to promote it the right way and at least, create more of a buzz, because I still have a video coming out. Like there's other things, which is funny because people are asking me, like actually my business partner at the studio was like, well, which one are you promoting? I'm like, all of them, shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, you don't have to just pick one. You don't have to.
Exactly. But, there's different ways that people are doing things right now, and they're, pick one song and only push that one and stuff like that. But because I'm a bilingual artist, it's easy for me to say, well, I got these 2 over here and I got these 2 over here. So, you know what I mean? I could hold off on certain things and, wait for them to pop off.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like I was mentioning before, like there's no one way. So like I know people give advice because like that's what they want to do. They want to help for sure. but there really is no one way. Like anyway, you have no idea what's gonna happen. You could just meet somebody at a show on a Saturday night and then your whole career could change.
Yeah. Exactly.
But so wait, what are your like studio situations? Like how often are you in the studio recording and making music?
So I have spurts, right?
Right.
Because I work a lot. I'm still a single mother. I'm in school. There's other things that will take me away from that. But I'm always writing. And I actually just started working with a producer named Blanco on the beat. And then I was preparing for Latin Music Week, which I just came back from in Las Vegas. So I had to hurry up and get like Spanish songs. So I called one of my friends in Florida, and he's a Dominican writer, and he teamed up with me and wrote a song for me. And then one of them I did by myself, which is Sola, and that's the one that like everybody loves, which is funny. But the video that's coming out is Olvidarte, and that video, I can't wait for it. It's gonna be really, really nice.
Yeah, you already shot that, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I do want to ask you about, I wanted to start with the music stuff, but I want to ask you about, because I've been seeing you, like, looks like you're doing a lot more video stuff. Like, I don't know whether it's production work or what's going on there. So I mean, you led right into it. What is your role in like the video world? Because it seems like you've been doing some more video projects.
Yeah. So I began Roze Red Music as a business 2 years ago. So the first year I was working on, just recording and building my business. And then once it blended into the second year, it was more, like really buckling down and making sure I had all my paperwork together and getting in the studio to record different type of music, because I had like live instrumentation on one end, and then something happened where I couldn't record at that studio for a while. So then I found myself on YouTube, and I didn't even know that people like have beat makers on YouTube and stuff. So I fell into that realm, and I was like, oh, this is what I'm talking about. So I started writing, and then teamed up with Danny Drummond at Drummond Brothers, and we were like, let's just do a business to business partnership. So I started working on more of my hip hop stuff. So it's kind of like it will come in, so I was recording in between my quarters for school, and so that's how it was. So it was like when I was in school, I really wasn't recording, and then like one day I'll be like really stressed, I'll be like, I need to record and get in there. But what I was doing was just recording and like honestly my own little quarters, you know what I'm saying, in between the school quarters. So that's how that worked. And then like summertime and stuff like that. So it was just one of those things where I had to like really schedule where I was at. And they've been amazing to me. Mars is amazing. Danny just started doing Mars is the engineer. Okay. Danny just started engineering, and just the quality that comes out of that place is amazing. And Blanco too, he's good too.
No, that's awesome. And then so you guys all are, I mean, it sounds like you have a team. Then are you guys all working together, like when it comes to the video stuff? Or what have I been seeing that was it all just your music videos that you were doing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were helping out other people's music. I was trying to like.
Oh, you know what? No, you're right. I was actually working with a rap artist. Her name is Naughty Cole. She's an amazing artist, and because I started Roze Red Music, I originally started it for me, but then people like, because of who I am and my character, they came to me to work with younger artists as like a mentorship. So I started working with 2 artists. It was Zajay and Naughty Cole. And Naughty Cole, she, Zajay's still in school, so she was more like on artistic and a background type thing where she's still building her brand. But Naughty had already been, she already had her brand going. She already had videos. She was going full force. So we were teaming up, and I was helping direct and stuff like that. And I just basically, I'm good at like management, so I would just make sure that her vision, she'll tell me what she wants to see. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about making sure that it comes out to her liking and her vision. And so I was behind the scenes. I didn't want to be in the video. She's like, oh, we got to get you. I'm like, no, I don't want to be in the video, because I wasn't ready. I didn't want to be in videos yet. But, during COVID and everything like that, like I realized how important it is to have visuals. But visuals are so expensive. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it was really stressful.
You gotta weigh nowadays. I just had this conversation with somebody. You really gotta weigh nowadays, like whether you gotta weigh when it's worth it to spend the bread or what, at what extent. Cause like back in the day, like even labels now, like back in the day, it was easy for them to have a high budget for a music video. They don't really do that now. It just doesn't equate. Yeah.
Yeah. I was watching, it's funny because when Hollywood Chill hit me up. He's Hollyview Films. He hit me up and he was like, "Hey Rose, want to do a video? It's green screen though. I'm not really sure how to use it, but we're gonna make it nice." And I was like, I don't know, you know what I mean? But I was really, really happy with the quality. He's a wonderful person, and we just shot it. You know what I'm saying? We were gonna do Love Me, but then I was feeling more what we could do with the green screen with Olvidarte, because I wanted it kind of cartoony. I wanted it fun, playful, because I'm so serious. All my music is super hard. You know what I mean? And I wanted something that would be lively and fun. And he was able to pull that off. I mean, what I have seen so far is really, really beautiful. And I'm glad that I can have that under my belt. So I also, in Latin Music Week, I thought I was gonna perform and do like a live performance, and even though they did say virtual performance, like I didn't know that I was shooting a music video. Right. You know what I mean? So I was like, "What?" I was so
you told me
prepared.
that. That's funny. So they did it like it was like you were shooting a live music video, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and it came out beautiful. I mean, I knew that it was going to be on top of the Cosmopolitan in Las Vegas. And I guess that's where Bad Bunny has shot. That's where a lot of people choose that, because it gets the whole panoramic view of Las Vegas at night. So, I mean, it's really, really beautiful. And I think that it's great that it was, you know, one of my songs that I wrote, you know, to be able to express that. So it was a nice experience, but I was caught off guard. I didn't know what the hell. I was like, what is this?
I bet. Had you been to Vegas before?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. That's no, because I saw those pictures too from up there, and I'm like, man, that's the perfect spot for a music video. Like that's
right.
That's you know, I'm really glad you brought up or you said the way you did, because I kind of feel this a similar way in that, like, you know, when you have when a lot of your music is like more serious based, like, you know, you have a lot of heartfelt shit, and I feel like I kind of, you know, usually like I'm a more serious writer. Sometimes I'll say jokey stuff, even though, and I think you say this too, like you're a bubbly personality in real life. I am too. But when it comes to music, a lot of times it's serious. So I've been at the same thing, is like trying to find a way to like smile in videos or like have funny, like, you know what I'm, like you were saying, brighter shit to then like, I don't know, contrast the serious nature of some of the music, I guess.
Yeah, no, it makes a difference. I mean, and then that's another facet of your personality too, that, you know, people don't really get to see.
Yeah.
You know, some people that like, I post a lot of my personality comes out on my Snap, but it's like all music related stuff and memes on my IG. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're not following me on both, you're not really gonna get who I really, really am. But I think that I should do a little bit more stuff on IG, but I just feel like that's more my business page. You know what I mean? I want to promote myself as an artist, and but I feel like we're in a time too right now where most of the fans really, really want to get to know who the artist is as a person, and I think that's great.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And now you can more than ever really see like every moment from some of these people, especially people who like post, you know, when you see somebody's story and there's like the dash is like this little, then you're like, oh my God, I'm going to see his whole day. I'm about to see this guy's whole day.
You're so right. I know, right?
All right. So I want to, there's a couple of things I don't want to forget about. First, I want to get into Love Me, because I did actually want to ask you about that specific song, and you mentioned shooting that. But before that, I guess I knew Roze Red is your artist name, and that's been your artist name. You had put out music when you were younger, and then kind of went away and came back. Am I kind of correct?
Yeah, absolutely. That name was given to me by Ready 45 of Death by Dishonor, a rap group that I used to sing in.
Okay.
And shout out to the DBD. You know, it was with Fluid, Zero, and Ready 45, and Pork Chop. And so he gave me that name, and it stuck. And I mean, I met those guys when I was like 19 years old. So I mean, I was going through a lot of heavy shit. I was smoking a lot. You know, I was straight up in a rap crew. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you know, I've grown a lot from then. And but yeah. So that was my stage name, and I put out like 2 mixtapes. DJ 20s has them, and they're actually up. So if you want to check those old school stuff out,
yeah, like that Piff or what?
On YouTube.
Oh, okay.
On YouTube. I don't know if he has it on something else, but I know for a fact that he has a whole channel of Roze Red, that mixtape on there. So that, yeah, that's how that all started. But I kept it because that,
Yeah.
you know, all my profiles, because I don't know if you all know this, but when you release any type of music, you get a profile on platforms, on streaming platforms, and you have to claim it. So when I went there, like it was kind of dumb to even try to change my name, because all the platforms already had my spot ready for me. So it was just like, well, what the heck would I even change it to? So
Yeah, and I think you're the only person with that name, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I am. Yeah, I bought the website. This is me.
You kind of already got ahead of it. Is like, I mean, you could have made the change if you wanted to, but I mean, I like the artist name. I think it makes sense. I didn't realize that. So then I didn't realize that you then started the business to go with it and just named it music. Yeah.
Yeah, Roze Red Music Inc. Yep, I'm fully incorporated.
Yeah, I love that. So then do you use that for like when you publish? I guess I didn't even look at any of these songs. Let me see.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
it Roze Red Music. Yeah, it says Roze Red at the bottom, publishing. But yeah,
Yep.
love it. See, you're on your shit.
Thanks.
Well, you know, that's one of the first things I did. Not that I need it. You don't necessarily need to do it right away, but it's like a good thing to do. And but then I realized how many people like didn't know about that stuff. So I'm happy when I see people that know what they're.
Yeah. So like, you know, the first thing you got to do is become a member of either ASCAP or BMI.
Yeah.
But when I did that years ago, that's when I got my first EIN, but then I had to, you know, do everything all over again, because of course I have not been paying taxes on that EIN for like 10, 15 years. So I had to get a whole new one.
Run that back.
Just start, you know, start again.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I guess for any new artists, if they're listening, they should know that you don't necessarily need to LLC and get a tax number. But this is like the full way where you're like, you basically have it. You're basically are your own publisher. Like you're your own publisher.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So then did you sign up with ASCAP or BMI as both a writer and a publisher then?
I am. I'm with ASCAP because I feel like they're more for singer-songwriters, and I feel like according to my research and other people that I've talked to, BMI is more for like people who make their own beats and stuff like that. Like I don't make my own beats. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm all for singing and songwriting and performing. And
I'm with ASCAP too. I just did it when I was younger. I didn't really like, I know people did both. And I guess it's one of those things like once you do it, you just do it.
Yeah. And you could switch, but you have to go through a little process. Like I've been with them for so long.
Or do you know, maybe you could know or tell me better. It shouldn't be that big of a financial difference. It should pretty much be the same.
They just pay out different. So like where ASCAP will pay out after like $100, BMI actually pays out $200 at increments, and they have a different fiscal cycle. That's the difference.
Okay, so it's some of those things, yeah. Well, I think I got my ASCAP down to a dub, so I'll get a dub when I need it. I think I try to make it the lowest. I'm like, let me get a sawbook real quick.
You're more than me.
All right. No, yeah. You know what though? I like that. Let's like to be completely transparent. Like, unless you got a lot of, and like the good thing is you own your music and I own my music. So like if you do get a lot of streams, we should get some money. But like you need a crazy amount of streams to see a real check. Like
absolutely. Yeah. I have a friend, his name is Fuli Cooley, and he did United Masters, but he like legit writes his own stuff, makes his own beats, records his own stuff. Like he do everything, you know what I mean? So like his check be like $900, and I'm like, look at you.
That's what that's kind of where I'm trying to go that same route, but you gotta build up there and get the streams. Obviously he's probably got a steady base. That's the way to go. Is like the ownership and just having some of that rather than needing to give out more of that. But it's a struggle. I mean, you see some of these artists who have like labels, they get like a penny on a play or some shit.
Yeah. Well, I don't think people really know that streaming only pays out like a penny. So you're absolutely right when you're talking about like a ridiculous amount of streams to even see anything off of that. And
it's 0.045.
It is. Exactly.
So low. Crazy.
And that hasn't been changed since 2018. So they better change that right now, because everybody needs to in order to make money is to stream.
For sure. And they've just made it so like I get it. Look, I stream all the time, so I'm not trying to say that too. But like I have also recently been trying to like I upload all my albums on my website just so it has an option so somebody can buy it on my album if they want to. Nobody does that shit. But that is the way, if you're gonna like, you know, that's
to
how
support an artist. Absolutely.
or Bandcamp. Bandcamp's a good site that does that, where they just, the money goes straight to artists. But like, I can't fault people, because if I'm streaming music, like I totally understand why you wouldn't go spend $9.99 when you can just listen.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where you just have to reach out to your family and say, hey, if you really want to support me, can you just buy my album? Go to my website and buy it. That would really support me. You know what I mean? That little dub, thanks for buying me lunch. Thanks for, you know what I'm saying? It's one of those type of things, you know, or merch, you know, like you got great merch. I love your merch. So, you know,
that was one of the things that I
be like you
early on. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's because like early on, especially back in the day, they thought that that was the only way really to make money off your stuff. Although now I do think if you know get a lot of fans to stream, you can. But what was I about to say on that? Oh no, I think you're absolutely right about getting album sales now. And you know, everybody, I need to do a better job specifically, but I think those things specifically are like more on like, you got to have a personal, like you got to reach out, you got to make because that's going above and beyond really. When you buy somebody's album now, it's above and beyond.
Yeah. I have friends who ask me, when are you going to get a shirt with your logo on it? I love your logo, which I think is great. You know, Danny, my partner, he, you know, he created that logo, and I just think it's beautiful. And I think that what I really wanted was something that people, even though it's associated with me, that people would look at and be like, oh my God, that's so nice. You know what I mean? And want to wear it just like your stuff. So, but I haven't done it. I've been so working on the music and trying to promote and market and stuff like that. That's, you know, where my headspace is at.
No, you know how it is, step by step. I'm really just happy to see you making music, because I mean, so you were on. I should mention, because obviously the clips of this will be on the Passion Park Experience, but you were on the live Passion Park Experience. I had you on the show one time, right?
Maybe.
Did you come perform at North Bar one time?
Did
I thought you did at one of the events, but now
I came to visit you. Did I perform? Oh, did I?
I thought we got you on stage at one of them. I'm almost positive we did.
Yes. Yes, we did. And Kevin hosted. And I remember that day I was wearing a hat.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, we definitely did. I have pictures. I remember it.
You know, things are a blur.
No, but so that was a couple of years ago. But I mean, everybody knew you had a beautiful voice. Everybody knows you have a beautiful voice. So I'm just happy that you're, you know, still doing this shit and really putting stuff out. I love the artwork, by the way, for the 3 singles that you have on Spotify. You got Come Harder.
That's Danny. Yeah.
Was those? Well, they're really dope. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we worked on them together. You know, sometimes I'll be like, oh, you know, can you come up with this for this song? And he just comes back with such amazing original pieces. You know what I mean? Like, I'll just be like, sometimes I will give him ideas, but for the most part, I mean, we work on it together, of course, but he'll be like, okay, these are 3 things that I came up with. Which one do you like? And what do you like of this one? And which one do you like of that? What don't you like? And we just work together on it.
Well, that's awesome, because I really like the work that you did. And it's nice to have that collaborative, like you give a couple ideas and then he can those ideas. Yeah. So which was the first one? Oh, Good Lovin' came out first. That was 2019, right? So what I want to just hear a little bit about these 3 tracks on Spotify, because I'm going to play them during this show. So what's the background to Good Lovin'?
So I mean, it's really just a story about a woman who feels like, you know, she just at the end and just like trying to tell him, like, this is all I wanted from you. I didn't want anything else, but I just wanted you to love me, and you put me through all this stuff, you know, because you didn't, like, I know you care, but you can only care so much, but I care more. And it's just really the story about a girl saying, like, I just wanted you to love me, even though I'm leaving. Like, you didn't love me enough. It just wasn't good enough for either one of us. So that's really the background of that.
Yeah, song. That's a beautiful story that I'm sure a lot of people could relate to. And you said you write a lot, no matter what, even if you're not really making music. So yeah, what is that? How does that how does that come into play in your life? Like, what do you mean? Like, are you just like writing poems? Are you writing just random lyrics? Like, what do you mean?
Random lyrics a lot of times. A lot of times it's random lyrics.
Yeah.
If I just come up with something, sometimes I'll be like really upset and I need to get something out, or I'm listening to a beat and I just, I just hear certain lyrics or what I want the premise to be or something like that. And sometimes it's poetry. Sometimes, it's just like word vomit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like
for sure. Like there's no one way. I'm curious, cause since I mostly rap and you, mostly sing, do you usually, I know you kind of mentioned, you said you did both, but do you prefer to write with a beat in mind, or do you prefer to like have a free mind, you write and then you decide what to put it on or what to use those words?
I don't think I really have a preference. I mean, it would be lovely to be able to get up in the morning and say, okay, I'm going to the studio today, guys. Let's make a song around this thing, and you know what I mean. Like I've had those type of sessions where we create, but I mean, at this point right now, I don't have that luxury. But I would hope that soon I would, and I'll be able to use those, lyrics and poems and put them together for that. But I mean, there's concepts, right? And there's things that you go through in life that you want to talk about. And sometimes, it's all about emotions. Music is emotions. And sometimes you'll hear a beat. I get inspired by rap. You know what I'm saying? I'm a singer, but I get inspired by rap. So I hear different, I listen to my favorite song. Like I love Kevin Gates, right? I listen to Kevin Gates, and then I go and I listen to some beats and I'll be like, okay, this is what I want to talk about. You know what I mean? But then other times I'm just like, having a moment or having a day, and then I just, go to my notes. Everything's in my notes. You know what I mean? I just put whatever I feel.
No, I
You know,
feel that very much. So it's kind of therapeutic for you, it sounds like.
Oh, 100%. I don't know why I was trying to say that.
No,
It's therapy.
that because I 100% relate to that because I feel very similarly. What you just said is funny because it's like you said you get a lot of your inspiration from rap, but you're a singer. I swear, I say this all the time out here. Like I pretty much always, especially if I'm about to like start writing and get in the studio, I pretty much always listen to like some R&B shit. Like that's usually how I get into my shit. Whether it's like, I mean, usually lately it's been Brent Faiyaz all the time because it's like hood R&B shit. Like,
yeah, I was put up on him a little while ago. He's pretty good.
but like that kind of like fusion, I always listen to that before I rap. So it's kind of funny that you said that.
Yeah,
I
all
like
have our
hearing about.
things.
I like hearing about how people's different like their writing and creative
The
process.
creative process, yeah, it's different for everybody.
It totally is. Like I know Tommy's one of my friends who also makes music, Guru. I got to get him on the show. But anyways, he's one of my friends. I have a couple of these. He's one of my friends who doesn't really write. Like he'll be in the studio and he'll just vibe out, and that it still kind of is writing because you're kind of writing in your head.
Yeah,
But it's not literally pen to paper writing. And so I just am so intrigued by how so many people different create, because really we're all just making music. It's just happening.
right.
Yeah.
Sharing our hearts. My goodness.
Yeah,
Who would have thought?
I was just talking about how like, isn't it crazy you'll be in a studio for like an hour and you end up with like a 2-minute song that then you have for the rest of your life. You're like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, I know, right? And it's funny. I used to be like, because I practice in my head all the time, right? You have this idea of what you want to hear, what how you want things to sound, and as a creative, as you said, everyone has different types of creative processes, and sometimes I'm like, okay, like they'll be like, oh, when people ask you how's your show, it's like, how do you explain that? You know what I'm saying? How do you think my show went? You know what I mean? Like, did the people clap? Like, how do you measure how well your show went, or how the people clap? Do because they were listening? Because my thing is like, in the beginning, people are already going to prejudge you. You know what I mean? But they're going to listen for a minute to see how you sound. And then they're listening to your content. Then they're listening to your beat. It's a process. You know what I mean? So it's like one of those questions that like, what you mean, how did my show go? It came exactly how I thought it came out in my head. And that's how I measure it. You know what I mean? The way I've been practicing it, the way I pictured it.
It's hard for nobody can have your vision because it's your vision. So it's hard for anybody to really see that. But with that said, I totally know what you mean when you get off stage and people are like, or maybe they're like, oh, that was awesome. And you're like, oh, okay.
I know, exactly.
No, I can relate to that. That's um, damn, what was I forgot. I was going to say something else about that. But, the what was I gonna say? I'm trying to capture my thought. What was it?
That
It was
people how people, when people tell you like, how do you think you did after a show and stuff like that.
yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
No, where was I gonna build off that? I don't know. Anyways, I thought you summed that up exactly right, because it's true. It's hard to put into words how you feel after you just did something that is so kind of emotional, kind of matter to you. So like
It is personal too.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. Like I'll write a really personal song and then I perform it and I feel almost sometimes maybe feel, I don't know, second guess myself or something about performing it because it's so personal. But then
It's vulnerability. Yeah.
at the core of it, it is exactly what you said. It's vulnerability. That's what this all is. That's what all. And to build on that, you do a great job of being very vulnerable in your music. So then we go into which one came first, Love Me, and then Come Harder, right?
Yes. So Love Me was an original piece. It was done by a collaborative of artists, of musicians. And they gave it to me. That was the first people who got me back in the studio after all this time, is actually my brother-in-law, Melvin. Shout out to him. Okay. He, you know, got a studio. He called me, said if I wanted to record. I'm like, man, you know, I do feel like getting back in the studio. And that's how this all started, you know. A couple of years ago, like 2.5 years ago, I think we're going on 3. But they gave me this beat. Actually, I was working on some other stuff first that's not released. But it will be on the live band experience that I have planned. That's a little teaser there, because nobody really knows about that. But I have a live band experience planned.
That's awesome.
And thank you. So while I was working on those songs, this was one that really captured me, and I was able to finish it in like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? It flowed really well. The emotion was there. I was able to like really, really give my all on this. And people who like really like R&B, they really digging it. You know what I mean? What I liked about it was it kind of reminded me of Beyonce's Sorry in the beginning. That's why I liked it. And I was like, okay, I'm feeling this. And then when I started getting into it, you know, that's really what intrigued me about it. So that was Love Me. So that one came first because because that was when I first got back into the studio.
Yeah. So, sorry. I don't, before you get into Come Harder, I got to ask, because I don't want to forget, and I'll beat myself up if I forget. How long did you take off from music?
7 years.
7 years. That's a long time. So it must have been emotional to come back to music after that.
It was. I mean, I was living in Philadelphia. I was in like a horrible abusive relationship. I moved to Florida, then Philadelphia, and I was just basically trying to have a family is what I can really put it. I wanted a family really bad. And I had my daughter, and you know, you have this idea of how a family should look, right? You know, nuclear family. And then I realized that this is bullshit.
Right.
With the wrong person. However, during that time, I just, you know, you either get with somebody who supports you and all that you are, or you get with somebody who has this idea of you that, you know, they try to put you in this mold and you lose yourself, you know what I'm saying? So that's what a lot of my music talks about, is like losing yourself in relationships and forgetting who you are, and then coming back through that and the pain that you go through because of that, forgiving yourself, giving more focus on other people than yourself. So during that time, I wasn't able to really create. And when I was in Florida, I was creating, and I have those, you know, that are on the back burner. I'm not sure if I'm gonna release those, but I was still writing. But I realized that when I really completely stopped, and when I was in Philadelphia, that I just wasn't myself. I was really depressed. And it was just a whole part of me was missing, because a lot of times, you know, as you get older, people have given up on their dreams and they try to convince you to do so as well. But that's not who I am. You know what I mean? So you know, they'll tell you you're too old, you're this, you're that, you're a mom, you're fat, you're this, whatever. I've heard it all. I'm telling you. But one day you wake up and you're like, this is who I am. Either take it or leave it. And I believe in myself. And I don't give a fuck what you say. I'm finna do what I want to do. You know what I mean? And it's either just turn out to something where you keep for yourself or you share with others. And I've been fortunate that the stuff that I've shared with others, people receive it very well. So
fuck yeah. That is thank you for sharing, because that's a very inspiring story. No, 100, like for real. Like, and like, I was just kind of like having this thought too. Like, there's so many, like you were saying, some people have their, people have their dreams, and there's people who have given up on their dreams. And that's a nice way to say that you're doing some shit you don't hate, you don't like. So then you're, shedding that energy on other people pretty much. And like, there's a lot of that going on too. And there's a lot of people not realizing that they gave up without knowing. And I think part of it is that if you don't have, like, I guess if you weren't meant to do this shit, you wouldn't be doing this shit. Like, and there's so many people who will then come to you and say, well, that's not going to work, or that's not going to work. Yeah, it didn't work for you. Yeah. You weren't meant to do this, because I'm still here, or you're still here because I'm still standing, and it doesn't look the way that you thought it was going to look in the beginning. It doesn't look the way anybody thought it was going to in the beginning, because nothing does ever. It never does.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just beautiful to keep pushing because of that feeling that you have. Like you said, you didn't feel like yourself without this. That's that feeling that's not a manufactured thing. That's real life. That is you.
That's your purpose. It's walking in your purpose. And I feel like when you start walking in your purpose, you have amazing things happen to you. It might not be what other people, would envision, right? But then it might be, you know what I mean? It might be singing at a place and the DJ just falls in love with you. Like, it's one of those things that you can't project somebody else's destiny. Like, how dare you? You know what I'm saying?
Well, and you can't project on what's success to somebody else, because somebody else might be chilling and be having a great fucking time doing what they love every single day, but it's not success in your mind. So then you're judging that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, you're so right. When you're, I mean, you just can kind of feel it when somebody is doing what they want to and sharing the energy that you feel is like their natural energy. You just can kind of feel it usually. It's like, it feels right. It's I get real emotional about that, because like even when you think you're struggling, you don't know that you have an impact on somebody else by you sharing a story like you just shared. Like, you might still feel like you're in a shitty place. Or me, like I remember I had, like, if I ever make a post about, like I did over this weekend, I make a post like, oh, whatever, not feeling the best or whatever. You make those to help people realize that that's a part of it. Yeah. But I don't realize what I get in return when I do that is that I get people telling me like, oh, like, I love seeing your shit every day, or like, it's inspiring me. Because I don't think about that on the daily, because that's not a normal way I would think about it. But it's a part of it, and it's kind of a cool thing that happens when you really are following, like you said, walking in your purpose.
Yeah, and I gotta give it to you too. Like, I've known you for what, like 5 or 6 years now, and I've seen your growth. As people have told me, I've seen you grow. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it's wonderful that you would continue to put your energy into something that makes you happy. So kudos to you, and I'm really, really glad that you invited me today to speak to you.
100%. I've been meaning to do this for a while. I think we had mentioned it before. I'm glad we actually got to do this now. And I get to play some of your songs on this, so it's a double with me, which is really cool. And speaking of that, so before, I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I got a couple more things, though. One thing.
No, you're good.
I want you to break down Come Harder, because this is the one that I've heard several times, by the way. I mean, I've heard all three of them because I went through your page, but I've heard Come Harder a couple times. So tell me, who's got to come harder? What's going on?
So Come Harder is about somebody who's just had enough, and they've just given a lot, and they just feel like this other person needs to know that you ain't no punk. You know what I mean? For lack of better words, or for cleaner version of words, as I say in the song. I mean, it's one of those things where you can pull yourself out of a situation and see it from the outside, and then say, hold the fuck up. hold on. You know what I mean? It tells about my struggle in a very controlling relationship. And sometimes controlling relationships, they have different variations. You have the controlling relationship where like you can't go outside, which I've been in those too. And then you have these controlling relationships that are manipulative, and they're basically keep you in a loop to keep you feeling like you're not good enough, to keep you striving to make a person happy, when in actuality they're just playing with you so they can get what they want out of you. And that's what Come Harder is about. It's about like, you keep saying that you love me, you keep like, everything that's coming out of your mouth is completely opposite than what you're doing to me right now. And so it's about just standing your ground and standing up and saying like, how dare you say that you love me, but all your actions are doing completely different. So it's like, what is love if love ain't enough? So I took that Tina Turner little sample and I sang it. You know what I mean? It's like, what's love got to do with it? What's love got to do? Like, for real though, some women, well, I actually just learned this, right? Because I study history, and it let me try to put this really small in a shorter version. But it's actually a recent notion where women would give up their sexual independence and their just their independence in general for the exchange of love and servitude towards a man, right? That came from the Dutch. So when I learned that, I was like, oh my God, it makes so much sense. Like, what I'm saying?
I mean,
like,
those
why
kind of
love?
themes have been throughout. I mean, I'm sure you can speak to this more, but yeah, that's a theme that's been throughout history, which is so gross, but it is a theme. There's like it's like sexuality has been used as a trading good for like years.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. And so nowadays, when you have, people coming against, the song WAP and stuff like that, like, really women are just taking back that power. They're taking back that independence. You know what I mean? They're capitalizing on their sexuality, which before, women and children, because we're vulnerable, we were able to be exploited, and now women are taking that back. So that's really what this is about. Is like, so what? You say you love me, like, and you know what I'm saying? What you mean? And if that's love, I don't want it, because that's just not what love is to me. That's not what love is supposed to be. You know what I mean? So that's how Come Harder came about.
That's what's up. I think that's the real message. It's like, well, I mean, it kind of like goes out to like, it's like, maybe you don't even know what love is. Kind of come harder, because clearly it seems like you don't know what that shit is. Or like,
yeah.
And to speak to the WAP thing, I love seeing all these motherfuckers uncomfortable. So it's hilarious.
I love it. I mean, I think Megan Thee Stallion, she hitting. I love Cardi B, you know what I mean? And I actually had a hard time with Cardi B in the beginning, because I was just like, I fought really hard to be at the stage that I am in life, right? So when you see somebody who reminds you of you, it doesn't hit you right away, right? So I'm just like, oh my God, why this ghetto ass Latina up here? You know what I'm saying? But then I started thinking about it, like that's who I was. That's who I am. That's part of me. That's
18 years old and shit.
yeah, you know what I mean? So I had to, like, come down off my high horse a little bit, you know what I mean? And just realize that she has broken so many barriers for women in general. You know what I mean? I mean, there was a point, like, Toni Braxton got dropped from her label because she wanted to do a pregnant photo shoot. Like, there's just things that, in the industry were not allowed. And as far as women, you know what I mean? Like, you got pregnant, you were dropped. You know what I mean? Even in marriage, anything that women had any type of power, they was not allowing. And, just women like, Cardi was able to break those barriers, sing the Spanish and English, which of course I was doing for a long time, but she broke the barriers. I stopped.
I mean, some people have been doing that. I guess she's probably one of the first, like,
who made it mainstream
on the rap side of it.
Yeah.
On the female rap side of it, right? Because
yeah,
I mean, there's singers who have done it, right?
Oh yeah, of course. But I mean, like, totally successfully. I think she's amazing, and I love Melly too. She's a Dominican girl as well, and she's bad. She's bad.
That's what's up. Well,
Let's come harder, nigga.
Oh yeah, I know. We're still talking about Come Harder. I just it got transferred into the WAP thing because because I don't know, because we were talking about sexuality and stuff. I just thought it was hilarious how many people were complaining about that joint. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, whatever. All right. So this is what I've been asking pretty much everybody that I've been having on for lately, and everybody's been giving me different answers, and I really like it. It's just kind of a wrap up answer. We've kind of talked about a lot of it, but if there was like one piece of advice, could be short, could be long, whatever it is, that you would give to somebody who's like, I'm thinking about, trying to make music, or I'm like, just had the thought about it. Like, what might be the like simple advice you would give to them?
Simple advice.
Well, it could be, I'm sorry. It could be either. It could be either. It could be like deep advice. It could be something quick, like buy a microphone or something. You know what I mean? Whatever you.
Yeah, no, I would say, figure out who you are as an artist, who you want to be as an artist, and stick to that. You're going to reinvent yourself a million times, but if you know your end goal and who you want to be as an artist and the impact you want to make through your music, if it's that, I mean, even if it's just, oh, I just want to make money or I want to flash money, let it be that and just go for it 100%. Don't let nobody, I mean, one thing I can say too is don't take all criticism, don't dismiss all criticism. Right. You have to, there's some truth in it. So don't be so hard-headed to dismiss people. Listen to what they say. You know what I mean? You could take it with a grain of salt and choose to not follow it, but just listen, because at one point it's going to come back and you're going to remember what that person said, whether you agree with it or not, in some way, shape, or form at some point in your life.
I think that's really good advice, because yeah, no, I mean, right, like you said, not maybe not all criticism, but there's value to a lot of criticism. There is, and it's hard to sometimes hear it. So I think that's really good advice, especially if you're just starting out and nobody's been critiquing you. So yeah, you gotta put the mirror up to yourself. You gotta look at it. You gotta see if what you're doing is really hot sauce.
Me versus me.
Yeah. I mean, look, that's the only real, I think, that's how you can really keep your head on straight, when you're just playing against yourself, and it's just constantly becoming a better artist yourself, better version of yourself. You're not competing with the next Instagram millionaire or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you should want to, you know what I mean? Like, you're competing in an industry. If you want to be in that industry, you got to be competitive. You got to be able to see what's hot, see what's not, and be able to, mix the two and still be yourself. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, the music business is different from just being a musician, and you got to know how to maneuver through that.
Yeah, the music business is 100% different from just being a musician. Like I was just talking about like the difference between somebody who's really good at making music and really talented to the difference between somebody who puts music out. Because just like, that's a different skill set. You got to be willing to do it, willing to put yourself out there, do that. And yeah, I mean, you're right. I find a balance on that, but I think you're right. Like the competitive nature should be there, and there is a little bit of it. But it's both. Look, I still feel like there's room for it all. So it doesn't have to be like, because he made it, I can't make it, whatever. There's room for us all to have a level of plenty of room.
Yeah. A good question that I was asked last night in an interview was totally caught me off guard. I was like, oh wow, yeah. He said, what do you think is the difference between somebody actually like making it and not making it? And that's basically kind of what you just asked, because it's really not even a matter of difference. It's a matter of, there's a lot of different factors, right? There's chance, there's who you know, there's how much money you've put out there, there's what's hot right now, and I just think that those type of things you really shouldn't focus on.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, of course, as a songwriter, my ultimate dream is to get a Grammy, right? Because I'm a songwriter. That's what I want to be recognized for. However, you can't have something you never had. You can't miss something you never had. So like, if I even get like, my little milestones are like getting 1,000 views. Like, I'm like at 63. I'm like, I get more likes on my pictures than what I have on my views from my music. What are y'all doing on my page? You know what I mean?
I feel it. I feel you on that. It's all about perspective. It is all about perspective. And I mean, listen, there could be an artist who's getting 10,000 streams a month, maybe more than that, but and has like 100 or 500 fans, but they live in like some small town and they pay their rent with their music. And I would never tell that person they're not successful. To me, that's
right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
right. And so there's plenty of ways to do this. I like that a lot of people are, or I've been seeing more artists like just like kind of being open about what their game plan is and shit, like just sharing the blueprints. Cause you could copy somebody's blueprint. There's nothing wrong with it. It's the same shit.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, yeah. This has been a wonderful conversation, Rose, by the way.
Likewise.
Yeah. I don't know the last time we saw each other a little bit, but we like you mentioned, we've known each other for a while, and this is probably the longest like full form music conversation. I've really enjoyed it. It's been awesome.
Thank you. I have to. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, 100%. Is there anything else you want to make sure that you get out of here?
Hello?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Sorry, I had a call come through.
Oh, no, you're good. I just want to make sure because you can get off and take that call in a second. Is there anything else you want to make sure that you plug? You got anything coming? This episode will be out at the start of the new year, which, woo, shout out to 2021. Let's get out of this.
Hey, I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, right? Is there anything that you can think of that you might want to be plugging or anything like that?
Just, visit my website, listen to the music, and I'm very interactive. So if y'all want to hit me up and know anything, I'm pretty open to that too. Perfect. This has been wonderful. Thank you, Passion Park Entertainment, for having me. I appreciate you, D-Lo.
Yeah, no problem. You know what? We're gonna sign off here, but I'm not gonna hang up yet. All right.
Okay.
All right. So, anyways, thank you for coming on the show.